Welcome back to the JCPod, partner with Stare Down Sports. Stare Down Greatness. What a fun weekend of March Madness we had. The first weekend of March Madness is past, which means that we are officially 30 days away from the NFL Draft, which is the next big, milestone we have in the NFL offseason. But we're 30 days away from that. There's no reason to really jump into that noise right now. So today, what we're going to do, talk about some NFL news that we've had from the last week. Because tomorrow's episode, I think we'll do coaching hot seats. I think that's what I decided on, but not for sure, but kind of expect that. So today, like I said, just be catching up news from last week, and then I'll talk a little bit about some of the March Madness games and some of the fun that was had this weekend. But let's start off with the NFL news. The first thing is that Andy Dalton got traded to the Eagles, so now he'll be the back. They made it very, very clear. He is not the backup. He's going to be the third stringer. Tanner McKee is the backup. So another QB move for Philadelphia, which is kind of intriguing because it makes you wonder if they're fine with Tanner McKee. Why are they trading for Andy Dalton? Unless it's a QB injury thing, which they don't really. Jalen Hurts didn't get hurt too much. So, yeah, I mean, he's going to be the emergency QB most likely, the way it sounds. But maybe they could just be fronting something and they really have him as a backup. Of course, it came out that there's a proposal for expanding the draft pick trades to 5-year window. Right now, it's currently only, I believe, a 3-year window. So, unlike the NBA where you can trade out like draft picks years in advance, NFL only does it where it's 3 years in advance. Of course, the team that wants to expand is the Browns. Obviously, I think there's. Oh, so this was a proposal just from the Browns. I'm sure there's a team or two that agrees with them, but just of course it's the Cleveland Browns that are proposing this type of trade. I mean, of all teams, to be trading away first-round picks, after that Deshaun Watson deal and everything, they don't need to be doing that. But it would be intriguing to see if the NFL does consider it. As of right now, I don't even think that it's in consideration. Apparently, the Cleveland says will also it will provide greater roster building flexibility, apparently, and it will also maybe make the trade market a little bit more active. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, there's obviously some minor rule changes that are going to be made this offseason. They usually make some every year, but I don't think that's going to be one of them. Carson Wentz is returning to the Vikings as a backup, but kind of makes sense because of the injury situation they dealt with last year and just their QB kind of hell they've been in since they got rid of Sam Darnold. So it seems like it's going to be probably Kyler Murray. We'll see what happens with J.J. McCarthy, but then it's going to be between him and Carson Wentz on who's going to be the backup, but this is starting to give you implications of like, okay, so this is kind of where they're maybe thinking of going with J.J. McCarthy. But at the same time, they dealt with a lot of QB injuries last year, so two ways to look at it. Kind of intrigued, but regardless, still an intriguing move because you got to wonder if J.J. McCarthy was Kevin O'Connell's pick or the GM's pick. And now with the GM gone and obviously they're trying to find a quarterback who can play right away, it's just intriguing. Just something to keep an eye on. Oh, this is very interesting. So apparently, NFL owners are scheduled to vote on a Las Vegas succession plan that gives Silver Lake co-chief executive officer Egon Durbin the option to purchase a majority stake in the team from longtime owner Mark Davis. Although sources close to Davis said he has no intention of selling the majority stake, the vote would mean that if and when Davis or his heirs did decide to sell, Durbin, a limited partner, would have the option to buy the club. Interesting. We'll see if that ends up going through. I was about to say, I didn't think he was interested in selling early, but apparently it's just. We'll see. We'll see if that even ends up being a thing. The Eagles are trading Sidney Brown to the Falcons. The Falcons received Brown along with the number 122 and 215 overall picks in the 2026 draft. And they're giving the Eagles number 114 and number 197. Interesting. What saves the Eagles $1.5 million in cap space. I was about to say, is this just a cap move or what? But obviously they're trying to retool their defense a little bit. So the 49ers it sounds like they are not going to end up trading Troy Williams. Apparently they're going to probably try to get a deal with him. Or are they trying to get a trade deal? I think they're trying to rework a deal with him. I don't think they're trying to trade him at this point. It sounds like they're just going to probably rework the deal and bring him back. I mean, you can't, kind of hard not to blame him. I mean, he did try and struggle a little bit. Like I said, for this, a couple shows ago, it was the Trent Williams standard when we talk about struggling. But he did struggle a little bit last year, but you got to think they're going to make this deal happen. They are basically going for a win-now situation. So if they think he can help the team, they're going to make this deal happen. DJ Chark retires after 7 seasons in the NFL. Shout out to him. The Seahawks exercised a fifth-year option on Jaxon Smith-Njigba and Devin Witherspoon. We'll talk about JSN here in a minute, but it's pretty much they did this to probably end up securing a deal later on because they already did with JSN. You got to think they're going to end up doing it with Devin Witherspoon. JSN, he signed a 4-year, $168 million extension. Let me repeat that. 4 years, $168 million deal, which is just insane to think about. It makes him the highest paid receiver in NFL history with an average of $42.15 million. The deal also includes $120 million guaranteed. I think the record before him was like 40-point-something million, so this goes over by $2 million. I mean, it makes absolute sense. He was first off, insane amount of money to think about. Especially that these deals just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. But now he's officially under contract until 2031 with the Seahawks. I mean, he enjoyed one of his best years in his career damn near last year. He's only 24 years old still, so he has a lot of time to go. And one of the biggest thing is when you think about it, the Seahawks really didn't throw the ball that much, and when they did, they threw it to him, and he led the league in receiving. I forget what the exact stat was, but there was some stat where I think when it came to like how many other times teams threw the ball versus when the Seahawks threw it, and then how much production he had and everything. And regardless, it basically said like JSN's really good at football is basically what it came down to. And good at football, he is. Very, very interesting. There's a lot of noise. Oh, I'll save that thought in a minute. Basically, to finish off with the Seahawks, though, awesome deal for JSN. I mean, he's damn near deserves it. He's one of the best receivers in the game. And now you got to think how is this going to set the market for other receivers who are supposed to get deals. And like I said, we talked about earlier, they picked up the fifth-year option for Devin Witherspoon as well. You got to think at some point he's going to be getting a deal here soon as well. If they already did one JSN, you got to think he's maybe the next guy they're working towards. And there's a lot of jokes about like, oh, so this is why they couldn't pay Kenneth Walker, which there might be a chance that is the truth. But yeah, that's still crazy, man. That's a lot of money. One thing that is seemingly interesting is the Commanders and Jeremiah Love. I think we talked about it a little bit on this show, but Jeremiah Love sounds like it's going to go in the top 10. Commanders make a decent amount of sense. Most of the free agent money has been spent on defense too lately, so it makes you wonder if like they're going to draft the skill position. I mean, even if they don't do wide receiver, I think there's been mocked some linebackers as well, and DBs mocked them. But Jeremiah Love, I think is they're getting a lot of rumors about that. Another thing I'm going to be interested in this offseason as well is Kyler Murray comeback player of the year. I didn't think about it. I forget what show I was listening to. It crossed my mind. I don't know why this is, probably shouldn't have brought this up here, to be honest, but it was just also another note I left under my Jeremiah Love note. Yeah, Kyler Murray comeback player of the year. I'm going to check those odds out later, but just something to keep an eye on. He was kind of hurt last year, and if he goes to the Vikings, there is a chance that if they make the playoffs and do really well, he could be an option. But the big thing I did want to talk about besides that, there's another draft thing. And that was kind of in between my two draft notes I wanted to talk about. So don't know why I kind of shoehorned that in, but that's going to be something I keep an eye on for those people who are interested in the betting portion. But yeah, the Dolphins are apparently going to probably take a wide receiver at number 11. Who's that going to be? Not 100% sure, but let's see where Daniel Jeremiah, who he has mocked there real quick. But I think all indications kind of seem like they do want to take a wide receiver. Especially, I mean, they moved on from Jalen Waddle. The wide receiver room isn't I think Parker Washington. Ooh. He plays for the Malik Washington. I was about to say Parker Washington's a Jaguar, but Malik Washington is, I think, basically their only receiver who's kind of decent. Darren Waller's gone, Tyreek Hill's gone, Jalen Waddle's gone. Yeah, according to his mock draft, Jeremiah Love also going to the Titans. Apparently, it's a thing, so that might be why the Commanders end up going to defense. That's according to Daniel Jeremiah, but Dolphins at 11. He has them taking a corner, which wouldn't be a horrible option, but you got to think maybe they might be interested in like Mekhi Lemon or some of the other receivers. But offensively, I mean, you got to wonder if they're going to take and we'll see it based on how they make some free agent moves before the draft, or if they make any. Well, I guess we won't see. But post draft, obviously they can maybe sign some veteran guys. But you got to think that they're going to want to at least get one young guy. Maybe they might get a guy later, but I have started to hear some rumors about a wide receiver at 11 for the Dolphins, but we just looked at Jeremiah mocked a cornerback, so who the hell knows? It's also, we're 30 days away from the draft, so much could change as well, so I don't want to linger on that too much, but Jeremiah Love to the Commanders, potentially. Jeremiah Love to the Titans, potentially. And then it seems like it's going to be cornerback or wide receiver for Dolphins. I don't know why it took me so long to think of that. The Falcons are signing Brian Robinson Jr. to a deal, it sounds like. It's a 1-year deal worth $2.5 million. He spent last year with the 49ers, served as number 2. And now he's going to serve as the number 2 behind Bijan Robinson. The only thing that's kind of ironic is he decided that he wanted to... Well, it wasn't fully his decision as well. It's kind of between him and the Commanders, obviously. But he did want to leave to try to become a number 1 running back somewhere. And now he played behind Christian McCaffrey and Bijan Robinson. It's like, those are 2 places where you... I mean, obviously he'll get some carries. But it's like, those are 2 places you will not be getting the bulk of the carries as a starter. So, yeah, that is tough. Levante David is going to retire after 14 seasons in the NFL. Shout out to him. He was a really, really good player. 14 years is a really long time. He is just one of 2 players since 1994 to have more than 1,500 tackles, 40 sacks, and 10 interceptions, which is a really, really cool stat. He was All-Pro in 2013, earned Pro Bowl in 2015. I think he had to win the Super Bowl, right? 12-time captain. Yeah, he won the Super Bowl, so you got to think he might be a Hall of Famer with some of the stats that he put up and everything. Especially with how, I mean, like I said, he was really good. The stats kind of line up. He has the Super Bowl ring. You got to wonder, but after we saw the whole Bill Belichick thing, he might not be first ballot. Trevor Siemian is signing with the Falcons, which kind of makes sense based on their quarterback room, Tua and Penix. I mean, who knows if Penix is even going to start for the season. Tua, he's had his fair share of injuries, so kind of makes sense that they want to get some depth there and some veteran help. The Panthers are getting a 2027 7th-round pick in return for Andy Dalton. I did forget to mention that part when we were talking about the Andy Dalton trade itself. The Seahawks ended up matching the Jacksonville Jaguars' offer on Jake Bobo, so the Jaguars are trying to sign free agent Jack Bobo to an offer sheet. I'm trying to see if they had the offer out. They don't, but the Seahawks ended up matching it, so they ended up bringing him back. Goes to kind of show he's a really good run blocking wide receiver as well as a decent. I mean, he's a big body too, but he's really, really good in the run blocking. I think that was like the main reason they wanted to bring him back as well because he's a big part of the Super Bowl team. So yeah, paid Jaxon all that money, and now they matched it up getting Jake Bobo. Oh, this is also something that's big. Pro days are all starting now for a lot of schools, so we're going to see a lot more basically hype for a lot of these guys because, the numbers are going to get boosted up a little bit because their practices are going to look a little bit sharper because it's like, hey, we're playing with our guys. We're going to set then you got the NFL Combine that obviously is like the NFL sets up for these guys, and you're throwing to guys you don't really know versus these pro days. It's like, all right, we're going to craft this to make you look the best you can possibly look, so... That is going to begin, and we're going to get a lot more hype. And like I said, that's why I didn't want to linger on the draft too much. There's 30 days left till the draft, and there's a lot that can change in between that time. And the final thing we'll end off with is some news about the Giants. So it sounds like Cam Scatterboo, his recovery is going decently well, and he should be back potentially for the start of the season. Malik Neighbors, his is looking a little bit scarier. Sounds like he really, really messed up his knee, and so they're going to have to do some digging around in there. Or when they did some digging around there, they found out that it was really messed up, obviously. So apparently his recovery is going a little bit slower, so that's going to be interesting to see how he progresses back. When it comes to some Daniel Jones news as well with his injury, it sounds like getting past the month 3 part is like the really, really big thing post-surgery. Deshaun Watson obviously wasn't able to get past month 3. He retore his and had to get surgery done again. Sounds like Daniel Jones was able to get past it, so he should be good to go for the future. It's really just going to come down to now, do we get the Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins effect where it takes him 2 full years to come back, or do we get the Jason Tatum effect where it seems like Jason Tatum came back in 10 months. Obviously, we'll see how it continues to go, knock on wood, but he seems to be doing pretty well, seems to be pretty healthy, so you got to think that Daniel Jones might be coming back just as healthy and be just as fine. I don't think there's any crazy college football news other than Oh, actually, there is. They changed the targeting rule, which is actually awesome. For at least one season, a targeting penalty will be no longer automatic ejection. Apparently, for 2026 Division One football, they approved the 1-year trial run that gives player a break for his first targeting penalty. So apparently in 2026, a player disqualified for targeting for the first time in the season may participate in the following game. So it's basically, if he's just going to get ejected for the single game. So basically, if he gets ejected in the second half with like 30 seconds to go, he is still going to be allowed to play in the second game. Player draws the second targeting penalty of the season will be required to miss the first half of the next game. Player draws his third, must sit out one full game. So, nope. Yeah, and nobody reached 3. I think there was just a couple guys that reached 2. So that's honestly a really, really big news for them, and college kids in general, because that targeting rule is just, I think we can all agree it's kind of, I mean, you get why it's in the game, but it's one of those like judgment call things, and then now, hey, guess what, you're thrown out of the game for the rest of the game, and now, hey, guess what, because the second half just started, and you miss the first half of the next game too. It's just not the best. I'm glad, I mean, it's crazy to think how much it's changed over time, though. If you remember the LSU National Championship where the guy got ejected for targeting, and then basically to sit in the locker room for the second half, and then they're like, all right, it's a bit cruel. Now we're just going to put it to where they are ejected, they get to stay on the sidelines now at least. And now it's progressing even more where they're going to do the 1-year trial run. You got to think they're probably going to keep this in the game. If not, maybe they'll tweak it to make it a little bit more player friendly to where they don't get ejected or have to leave the game more. But you only get so much time in college. And most of these, like, I would say 80% or 90% of targetings, there's not really malicious intent. It's just football. There obviously are some where you can't see there's malicious intent involved, but for the majority of the thing, it's just these are college kids playing a game that's really, really fast. The players are just getting bigger and stronger. Guys quickly move at the last second. One guy isn't able to move, and you get collisions like that. But I think that's basically going to be it rule change-wise I wanted to bring up for... I think there's going to be some offensive pass interference potential penalty, or pass interference in college as well. There's a change to that. We're going to double check on that for next time we bring up college football, but I think they are doing some rule changes when it comes to that. And yeah, that's basically going to do it for that portion. We'll basically end the show. Not a long... we're going to end it with a little March Madness talk. Not a super long one today. Honestly, there wasn't a whole lot of NFL news. There was just some small, like, big splashes here and there, but past that, there just isn't a lot of crazy movement. It's kind of a dead period a little bit as we get towards the draft. I mean, there'll be some small movement here and there, but basically the draft is the big thing that we're looking forward to when it comes to NFL, and then post June 1st when a lot of these teams, like, for example, the A.J. Brown deal. If A.J. Brown's going to get traded, it's post June 1st. So basically, April, I think 23rd is the draft. So basically that's going to be the next big day for NFL. So up until then, going to be a little bit quieter, and then June 1st, another big day, and then it's going to be sad, man. There's going to be a lot of dead time. I mean, shit, we still got 170 days till the season starts, so we still got a decent ways to go anyway. But like I said, I want to at least end it with some March Madness because that's what's going on right now. I'm not going to go into super like in-depth basketball analysis because I'll be honest, I'd be doing it a shame. But there was a lot of fun stuff to learn about, like some of the big stuff that happened. A lot of the Utah State coach, there was a lot of talk about his inbound action and how that's like awesome and hey, study this and all that. There's an awesome clip going around of some UConn. There's basically just a set. I think it was just a single play, UConn set play, whatever you want to call it, where they just looked like I watched it. I agree. There was somebody commenting, I watched this 4 times, don't know who to guard. You watch it, it's like that's some high IQ basketball, and that's just leading kind of into the point, talk about the tournament as a whole so far, is just these players are so much smarter, taking advantage of so much more, and there might not be a whole lot of Cinderella so far, but it's been a really fun tournament. So, I mean, we saw Iowa upset Florida. High Point had Arkansas on the ropes for a little bit, but then Darius Acuff just put them away. Darius Acuff, that guy can hoop, let me tell you what. I mean, there's just so many fun. I think my favorite game overall from the weekend was probably Nebraska-Vanderbilt. I mean, and I won't lie to you. I've mentioned this multiple times in the show. I'll mention it again. I'm a big atmosphere guy, and I love the stadium. I love the roars. I mean, it's hard not to fall in love with it, and just in general, honestly. just the atmosphere of crowds when they can get really, really hyped. So the fact that the OKC arena was filled up with a lot of Nebraska fans, and you could hear it. I mean, that was one of the loudest. I mean, they were cheering for defensive rebounds. They were booing on some calls. They were like, I mean, that was definitely a foul, but I get, giving the refs a hard time. I mean, that was truly an amazing atmosphere. Can't get past it, but overall, like I said, this has been a really, really fun tournament so far. Been a lot of decent games. Obviously, there have been some blowouts. Like, I'll admit, wasn't able to watch this because it was a little too late for me, but Alabama, Texas Tech, what was that, 19 for, I think, 30 or something from 3, whatever it was, 19 for 42 maybe from 3. I mean, good Lord, Alabama. Just absolutely shooting lights out. Michigan looked really good in their wins. Duke almost lost to Siena. That was one of those games, I'll admit, I was waiting for the Duke line to drop. It drops. It's like, all right, time to jump in at 9.5. I end up, I think, betting 5.5 again, so 5.5. I put a lot on 5.5, so thank God that saved us. But all of a sudden, you're watching that, and it's like, oh my gosh, they might actually lose this game. I mean, I think it was really with like 6 minutes to go until it really looked like, okay, Duke's going to start taking some control. But, man, you want to talk about scary, man. And then Ohio State TCU was a great game to start the day. Ohio State goes on a 15-1 run to bring it back. Sadly, they weren't able to follow through. St. John's, awesome game. I mean, South Florida, Louisville ended up becoming an awesome game. There's a lot of these games that start out, I mean, obviously first round did have some blowouts, but a lot of these games started out blowouts, and then teams were able to make it a little bit closer. Florida becomes one of the very few, and what's crazy is apparently this stat has happened both times to Prairie View. Florida's only one of 2 teams ever to win their first round game by like 50 points and then lose in the second round. And like I said, Prairie View was a part of both of those, so it's just kind of a weird moment in history. I think there's another stat that Duke has not won the title without beating St. John's, so that's just another fun little stat nugget there for stuff. But yeah, that Nebraska-Troy game first round, that was also a great atmosphere listening to that crowd. But what was it? Santa Clara, Kentucky, that was just absolute madness. The back dual buzzer beaters. Shout out to Miami of Ohio getting in the first 4, or getting a win in the first 4, excuse me. That was awesome for them to at least get that win in the first 4, because it got really ugly with Tennessee. They played Tennessee, and Tennessee just basically bullied them and put them in a locker. You want to talk about bowling and put in a locker, though. It's not Houston State. I mean, Houston did kind of do it. Texas A&M, 88-57, but man, why can't I not find this game and think of the? It was whoever Kentucky played, I think. Iowa State, Kentucky. Kentucky went up 10 at first, and then I won't lie to you, that was kind of awesome to watch. 1 as a better of Iowa State, but just 2 as a neutral party. Just watch a team just absolutely take the soul of another team, and then eventually it comes out. One of the players after the game said, like, yeah, we knew that if we could just beat them down or get up to a certain point, they'll just quit, basically. So, kind of crazy that they put it literally in their game plan. Like, yeah, if we make this team, I mean, it just goes to show, like, just how determined they were to be like, hey, we're going to make this team quit, and they definitely will quit. And sure enough, Iowa State made them quit. You could just see, like, Kentucky's kind of soul leave their body a bit. They just kept getting beat down. But the Sweet 16 is officially set. You got Iowa State taking on Tennessee, Alabama taking on Michigan, Purdue taking on Texas, Arizona taking on Arkansas, Houston, Illinois, Iowa, Nebraska, which is just, man, that you want to talk about. That's going to be a hostile environment. Michigan State, UConn, St. John's, and Duke. I mean, that should be a really, really fun time. March Madness has been fun. It always is. Just always a great time. And I think that's probably a good place to end this. So thank you all for watching. Thank you for the support. Really do appreciate it. We will be back in this feed tomorrow to probably talk about some coaches in the hot seat. Because let's be honest, we had 10 coaches get fired this year. We might even throw some GMs in there, especially for one specific team that I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. But like I said, we're going to, tomorrow we'll talk about some coaches on the hot seat, bring up some more NFL news if we have any more comes out. But feels nice to kind of get back to the 2-episode-a-week thing. But man, we got a long way to go in this offseason. So I'll see everyone back in this feed tomorrow.